Now,
Hello. Oh,
some
damn
music.
it, Matt. My intro.
What are
You
we talking
ruined
about?
my intro.
Usually we say something after. To be fair.
Yeah, I'm jumping right in, man. We got some news to cover.
All right.
Actually, you have a video game fun fact, right?
Yeah.
Right, are we restarting? Are we
Nope.
resetting? Oh, okay.
Did Ryan just have a heart attack there? You just sort of like holding
Yeah.
your chest and you're just like,
Got some gas. Some gas making its way up. All right. Hello and welcome to Day One Pad Podcast, episode 525 or 225 as I originally labeled it. Remember being back in the 200s, Matt?
I couldn't tell you what year that would be.
No one knows. It's impossible to know.
I could tell you.
I mean, we can look it up, but when did we start? It was like right out of college, right?
Yeah.
Or was it in college?
It was in college, but it was the Shoulder Button Boys.
How long was your college program? Was it 4 years or 3?
It was 4 years, 3 years of classes, 1 year of on-site learning.
So mine was only 3.
well.
But you met me at school to discuss this idea.
Yeah. So I was there. I was working there.
Yeah,
Or
like you were
schooling there.
studying there.
Studying, thank you. That's the word.
I was schooling.
Tim, how are you?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, my cat just did something. I don't know.
Cool.
Something's probably broken. All right.
Oh.
How long was your program, Tim?
Well, I've been to post-secondary a couple of times for different
okay.
things. But I finished a 1-year certificate program, and I also did the first year of a 2-year program because I wasn't really looking to get everything out of that program after the first year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I did the radio program, and then after that, like the first year is pretty like general because I wanted to learn things like mic technique, and I wanted to do like basic audio video editing and that sort of thing. And the second year is very like specialized with like specifically radio like software and stuff that they use, and like I just didn't need that information, so just did the one.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think there's a single thing I really learned in college.
Oh, you didn't learn how to learn?
Well, not really.
I'd say I learned the majority from my on-site stuff. Although the issue is like I went into like a slightly different thing, and so like even all that knowledge might be kind of dated now.
Well,
Yeah.
I imagine your course in particular, Matt, and other like engineering and sciences, you probably learn a lot more. But mine was for broadcasting, and it's generally the stuff I already knew. And it's like we had a lighting class where they taught you how to light, and it was basically just the 3-point lighting thing again. They didn't really teach us any kind of techniques on how to get certain
really?
lighting or anything. Yeah, it was our editing class was just, the guy put on a video to show us how to use Final Cut 10. He put on like a YouTube video basically.
That sucks.
Yeah. So anyway, all
They
right.
didn't. Well, I was gonna say like they didn't try to like get you guys to like do anything cool or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't try to like make a cool project and like here's how you do it, and I don't know, something that would be just because it's college. I
Well,
would
the thing
imagine
is-
more hands on.
The thing is, they didn't teach us how to do it. So we had classes where they're like, okay, we want you to make a 5-episode program. Like, have a story, create 5 episodes in the story and produce that and then hand it in for results. But they didn't tell us like, oh, you had to use the 3-act structure when you're writing these stories and you wanted to do this. And, this kind of camera angle is good for that. They didn't teach us any of that. It was just go do this. We went and did it and they would judge us on it. Like, that's basically what every single class was. It was very weird.
Do you think that other people were learning? Like, were we just better equipped because we had communications?
That might
maybe?
have been the case. If it was your very first introduction to anything kind of like audio visual, maybe. Yeah. But I was hoping for more, techniques and, theory on how to do things. We were the last class to learn how to edit on tape.
Oh, you were telling me that, right? Because it was like tape was kind of out when you started, and then
It was already dead, yeah, by the time I started. Everything had gotten switched over to digital, but they still had a class for it, and it must have had funding or whatever, and ran till a certain point. And it was so bad that like he barely taught us how to edit on tape. And then when we were doing our final exam, we couldn't get it. We didn't know what we were doing, and the teacher came in, did it for us, and be like, "There you go, you passed."
what?
Because it didn't matter.
What?
The thing was being shut down anyway. It's like why
Oh my
ruin
God.
why ruin these kids like grades based on a thing that doesn't matter anymore,
That is actually kind of valid.
Yeah,
Why grade somebody on something that they're literally never going to use? It's not relevant to the course anymore. I would question
yeah,
why it's even in the course for those kids at that point. Anyway,
yeah.
like you can cancel a teaching plan halfway through a year, but whatever.
I remember the one teacher was trying to justify the program by saying like, well, this one time they were all, they were working at a studio and they all were editing on, nonlinear editing systems, which is like a digital editing system. And they all went down. All their computers went down. They couldn't do it. But one guy knew how to edit on tape, and so they ran over to the old tape room, and he was able to save the day. And I'm like, that's no, they've
One
solved that by
time,
now, lady.
one
I mean,
thing. Like
yeah,
God.
yeah. So anyway, that was little Ryan college days.
Wow.
Yeah. Matt, you got a video game fun fact for us?
I do indeed have a video game fun fact for you.
Take it away.
So this is inspired by the fact that I started seeing some Death Stranding 2 content come across my YouTube homepage. I didn't watch much of it. I kind of want to go into that game more or less blind, short of the first trailer or two, whatever.
On the beach.
So for the what?
On the beach.
On the beach, which I still don't fully understand what it is. But so I
Limbo.
thought I
The
would
beach is limbo. It's the
like,
it's the it's the it's the land before death and after life.
so purgatory, or is it not as nefarious as
Effectively.
purgatory?
Well, it looks pretty nefarious, doesn't it? A bunch of dead whales freaking
Is
washed up on the beach.
purgatory nefarious, or is its own nature nefarious?
No, well, I don't know like what the I don't know any religious aspect of it if there is one, but
I
I
don't know
always
that
thought
either.
it was just like a nothingness. It's kind of like a void. You're just kind of in.
And you're
You know what I mean?
stuck, right? Like
It's not bad or good. It just exists. You're just there.
do or do not. There is no try, basically.
I guess.
Anyway,
No, let's talk more about philosophy.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. If there's something I don't know a lot about, it's
Well,
that.
I did take a philosophy class in high school. We can talk more about my education.
Yeah, we're just gonna get the whole background.
And it's
Anyway, yeah, continue, Matt.
Yeah, so I was thinking about some Hideo Kojima projects, and I was gonna actually cover what I thought was the first Metal Gear game, and I was incorrect. So I don't know much about the Metal Gear series. We've watched Aaron play a couple of the early ones. I played a little bit of
we
Phantom
watched him play
Pain.
the first Metal Gear Solid. There were Metal Gear games before that.
Yeah, so that's exactly what this is about. So like I didn't know that. And when I went kind of like looking, I was just kind of poking around different fun facts. I found this, which is super interesting. So, or at least it was interesting to me. So Metal Gear as a series was actually not supposed to be what it is at all. It was supposed to be like an action-packed shooter, run around, fast-paced action, whatever. And the original Metal Gear game, literally called Metal Gear, was made in 1987. So it was released in 1987, I should say. And it actually became a stealth game purely by accident, or more specifically, purely by hardware limitations. So Kojima's team was developing it for a system called the MSX2. This is a home computer popular in Japan, and it was also popular in a couple other regions as well. There may be a future fun fact about the MSX2 because it's the first I've heard of this thing as well. But the MSX2 was surprisingly powerful in some ways for the time. But one of its weaknesses is that it could not handle fast-paced action. And specifically for Metal Gear, there was too many sprites on the screen. So there maybe be too many bullets on the screen, too many enemies, a combination of bullets and enemies, other things running around on the screen. And this would cause serious slowdown. And the system also had a lack of smooth scrolling. And so unfortunately, it was like, okay, this thing is not really designed or can't handle what we want to do with Metal Gear as this fast-paced action game. So they decided to go stealth. Now, what was interesting is this project, so the Metal Gear project, was actually meant to rival another popular game that just recently got a re-release or a remaster called Commando. And that's like a isometric or sort of like strategic, but like more action-packed sort of shooter tactical game.
Hell yeah. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine. My brother used to play that game all the time.
Yeah, so funny enough, the Stargate Timekeepers game is like Commandos. So anyway, so Kojima said, all right, this thing can't handle the action. It can't handle this thing. We're not going to be able to rival Commando in this way. we're going to change from guns ablazing basically to having the player sneak around, avoid detection, be more strategic, and be more about strategy over firepower with, guns and rocket launchers and everything else. And this design twist game gave birth actually to the stealth genre as we know it in general. So the MSX2, to give a little bit of background, was not a console, but it was actually a standard. So it's kind of weird. So think of it like it's like the VHS of gaming PCs, but it wasn't just like one company made it. So multiple companies got involved with this thing on this standard. So for example, Sony and Toshiba were a couple of them. And Metal Gear, meaning like in this title, Metal Gear got better known for its NES port. It's actually not canon. The MSX2 version is the one that's canon. The NES version cut some plot points. It also cut an actual Metal Gear boss from it as well. Kojima is actually known for saying that he was, or known for criticizing, I suppose, the NES version, saying that it was developed without his actual input. Now, I mentioned like the stealth mechanics of Metal Gear. Metal Gear introduced core stealth ideas such as hiding, of course, enemy patterns. So that would be things like, this guy goes up here, he looks around, so he's patrolling, he goes left, he goes right, things like that. Radio comms as well, so you could like listen into radio comms, or like they could call for help, things like that. Things that we're like used to today. Now, these were things obviously long before they became mainstream, because like that's kind of what the context I'm talking about. So this thing really was kind of like a genre defining game. Also, Metal Gear's cover art was actually traced from the Terminator's Kyle Reese from the movie.
It does look like him.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, I thought, because like again, like I thought these games were more or less in order. I didn't really know. I looked up a timeline, and this first Metal Gear game for the MSX2 was the first actually released to the public, but it was the fifth chronologically. So it was set in the near future at the time of release, because it was set in 1995. And it marks, and this is, spoiler territory, but it marks Solid State's debut mission, infiltrating Outer Heaven under Big Boss, who turns out to be the villain. I don't know what all that means again. Like, there's a lot of lore with Metal Gear and all that. But, that's it. Like, Metal Gear was, like one technical leap, I guess you could say, away from not being the Metal Gear that we know today.
What's interesting is like Kojima's so creative. It's kind of surprising he's like worked on the same franchise most of his game dev career.
Yeah.
I know he's done like some other things, I think. Like I don't think he's been exclusively Metal Gear, but that's basically what he's been doing. I mean, how many are the base games? Like 5 of the regular mainline games?
Up to 5, right? There's no Metal Gear 6, yeah.
Yeah, but there's like a PSP, like Portable Ops or something like that.
Yeah. There's spin-offs.
Yeah, I don't know if he was directly involved in those either or not, but so it's just interesting that he like his first like big departure was with Death Stranding, right? And I believe he's already working on that other game with
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, thank you. So that'll be interesting to see him kind of get some more games out. I think Death Stranding 2 is also his last Death Stranding. He said.
Well, at least it wasn't the first.
I don't know if the Strands genre really took off or not.
Strand genre. Thanks, Donkey.
Yeah, it's a new type of game.
What's interesting is like, was he striving for like perfection? Maybe that answer is out there somewhere, but was he striving for like, this is what I wanted to do? Okay, we switched to stealth. Now this is what I want to do, and the tech is only so limited, and the budgets are only so limited, things like that. And so was he always striving for like, okay, the next one will be better, the next one will be better, the next one will be better, and like I don't know if they always actually got better. Again, I haven't played all these games, but
I'd imagine he's a bit of a perfectionist, or a lot of his games are super detailed and a lot of like unnecessary, although I love it, detail in it.
He's definitely very like vision focused.
Yeah,
he has an idea of what he wants to communicate. It's like a true, artist, right?
But it's remarkable that like the style he has like was able to be transferred from Konami to his new studio. Like all the cutscenes, like I know he took some devs with him, I think, but to like, completely recreate that same kind of feel that he has in his games it's kind of crazy.
It probably just
it's obviously not just him; it's a whole team making the game.
Yeah, but it just goes to show his level of involvement in the project, right?
Yeah.
What was that Ground Zeroes too? That was something like I don't know. I would guess I would loosely call it a teaser to Phantom Pain. Was
Yeah.
that because Phantom Pain was taking so long to make, or was that literally just something he wanted to release, like kind of like a Gran Turismo prologue?
I've heard that like Konami was like upset with how long it was taking, and so he chopped a chunk off and made it Ground Zeroes or something. Because it leads right into Phantom Pain, even though there is a bit of a time jump.
It almost feels like it's level one to level two. It's or it almost feels
Yeah,
like you're playing the intro. There's a title card, but really you're
and then it
switching
would
games, and then it Phantom
right.
Pain.
Yeah, I don't know the actual history because I remember there was a couple like rumors like that, and he might have said that like Konami didn't have any issues. There's also a bunch of cut content from Phantom Pain. There's like a
Like
whole chapter
in
that's like missing.
in ground. Okay, no, I thought you meant like it was cut out for Ground Zeroes, but you mean it was like
No,
cut and
no.
never published.
Yeah, I think some people like hacked into the game or whatever were able to find like unfinished cutscenes and unfinished levels and stuff.
That's really standard for game design, though. Stuff gets left in all the time.
But it wasn't just like them trying something. It was like a whole section of the game that was like scrapped, and I guess the story
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily fully make sense without that piece or something like that.
Oh, cut like core content.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because like
That's
maybe they
weird.
didn't have enough time. He was having problems with Konami at that point, right?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, see ya, here's your game. I don't know if that's what happened or not.
I want to know like what I would assume is chaos ensues behind the curtain with some games. So like I have this distinct memory when I was younger where I watched the first to me anyway gameplay demo of Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, and it was like super revolutionary for the time and really really detailed. And there was a dev taking you through a level and explaining everything, and he was like, oh, like this guy, like your soldiers can slip because they're under stress because you're putting them, because you're a person who like controls them, like you tell them where to go and who to shoot and everything. It's a tactical shooter, and it's like, oh, you're telling this guy to go shoot a tank, but like the tank is looking at them, so he's gonna slip, and he might make a mistake and things like that. And it was like really cool, like really really again revolutionary for the time. And then the game came out and it was all right, but it wasn't what they showed. And I can only imagine like the chaos that ensues when a game is like shown one way, and in that case was like shown and played one way, and then they're just like, holy crap, okay, we can't do all this. like
Yeah.
what's what do you do at that point? And it's not even like one level was like that and then the rest was lesser or different. It like the game was not that. I don't recall that level.
That might be a good reason not to have E3 anymore because I know like game devs would make an E3 level.
Version of the game.
They would
Yeah.
finish it before the rest of the game was even close to being anywhere near finished. That's what happened to the Watch Dogs thing. Like that, like the game
Oh
did not
God.
ever look like that. You know,
Yeah. I always
it
think
never
of
looked that good.
the Division specifically.
That
for
one too, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Although they kept the door in, everyone loved the car door.
The car door closing.
That's one of those moments where it sounds like so dumb, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we lived in a time when like detail like that wasn't
It
really
just didn't
there.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like seeing like it's like why would people be amazed seeing color TVs for the first time? It's like, well, we lived in a time when there wasn't color TVs. You
Yeah.
know?
I remember I would always like see pictures of my dad when he was a kid, and it was like the sepia colored or like black and white photos.
Yeah.
And I would ask him as a kid, like, why are they in black and white? And he's like, oh, the world was in black and white back then.
Yeah,
And I believed him,
Right.
you know?
There was a guy in my college that for his one of his technical writing projects, I think it might have been the final one, but he wrote an argumentative essay on like the fact, quote unquote, that the world was in black and white. And then he like took, because it was, we were in tech classes, so he like talked about like the technical reasons why that's factually true. And
Yeah.
one of the things that was like allegedly to debunk it was like, well, people were describing colors. And his thing was, well, if you lived in a black and white world, you would get very good at describing different shades. You would become very acutely aware of something being like slightly different gray versus a very gray or things like that. He got like a 98 on it. It was pretty well done actually.
Well, it's like that thing, right? Where you what the that philosophical potentially conversation where it's like nobody necessarily knows definitively what blue is. Like the blue that I see could be what you would call green and what Ryan would call red, but we all know it as blue and we all agree that that's blue, but it actually looks differently to all of us. And it's like that. It's kind of the same principle, right? Like they would say, oh, from our modern perspective, the world was just black and white. But to them, that gray was red, that darker gray was
Yeah.
blue, that lighter gray was green.
There's like that theory too that everyone's favorite color is the same. And it's kind of hard to, I don't even know if it is, like, I don't know if there is a way to debunk
Well,
that, but
unless you're talking about what Tim is calling, but like light color does have different like light frequencies, right?
Yeah.
Different wavelengths for different colors. And so there are physically different colors. It's just, does our brain perceive it as the same
yes,
color?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what people say because like they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, but blue's a cool color, but it's like technically that's a like a human perception and like transition to like an adjective kind of thing. They're distilled
Yeah.
into an adjective. Realistically, somebody could see what I see as red and be like, that's a cool color.
Yeah. And it's kind of it goes for all the human senses, I guess, right? Because like we don't know if we're smelling the same thing, and that we have different tastes when it comes to like what we like to smell and or to taste or whatever, you know.
Hmm.
So
Crazy.
if I like pizza and Matt doesn't like pizza, it's like who's to say we're even tasting the same thing? They probably taste different to us. Anyway, I don't know how we got to this topic, but all right. All right, hopping into our first story of the week. GTA 6 trailer.
Hey,
This is just after GTA got delayed until 2026. May, I believe it was. May.
May 26, 2026. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. Did you all watch the trailer?
Yes, sir.
I did indeed.
Matt, you finally got caught up on that?
Yep.
I was impressed by this trailer. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was impressed. I thought it looked pretty good, but I was more impressed by the detail that came out later saying it was running on a base PS5.
Yeah, yeah.
Both gameplay
Although,
and cutscene.
did you guys notice? I don't. This doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but there was like a frame rate weirdness in the very beginning of the game or the trailer
Mm.
when he's on like that porch and like he's talking to that guy
Right.
down on the this thing. The
He's
frame
up the
rate seemed a
ladder, yeah.
little low there,
Mm.
and I'm not trying to take anything away from how amazing everything looked and that it was on the base PS5. But it was odd that they would put that in the trailer. But that was just me.
Probably the best they could make it. And they're going to obviously polish it more before release. Ideally, it is Rockstar. They have the resources.
I'd say it showed a big jump from that first trailer because
Yeah.
I know that first trailer. A lot of people were talking about the details of that beach scene where it was like, and like the kind of the general sentiment
Yeah.
that I heard was like, it doesn't look amazing, but it's amazing that there's a lot of stuff in that scene. And so it's
Mhm.
like it looks good and there's a lot. So like that, that's really interesting. Now I feel like if we saw that beach scene again, I feel like it would look a lot better and still be just as busy.
I think people were probably looking at it thinking like Red Dead 2 looks better than this. And like Red Dead 2 was years ago, which is like
That's how I felt.
kind of comparing apples to apples, right? It's like Rockstar, big open world Rockstar game to big open world Rockstar game, which I think is fair.
To me, with that first trailer, it was the amount of things that impressed me, but the actual like individual things didn't look that much better.
Mm-hmm.
And then in particular, the people didn't look that great to me, at least. But this trailer, everything looked amazing. There was so much detail. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it looks real, and I don't even know if they're striving for a true real look,
No,
but it looked.
I think the Rockstar tends to go for stylized, like
It's like a stylized, realistic view.
the world itself. I would say the environments and landscapes, to me,
Yeah.
strive for realism, but the characters are kind of characters or characterizations of people.
So I guess we did learn a bit. They've released like some kind of press release. Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them. But when an easy score goes wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of
Leonida, probably, yeah.
Florida.
Leonidas.
Forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. And then they also released like a big list of all the different characters that they showed off in the trailer. I believe Bobby Moynihan is voicing a character known as Booby Ike.
The thing that gets me is, did they in that release the voice actors that are doing Jason and Lucia?
Oh, I don't know, but I'd imagine that's announced
Because
somewhere, right?
I didn't check it. I'll need to be fact checked. But to me, it sounded like Jason is being voiced by Roger Craig Smith, but who is typically cast as like honestly kind of generic white guy hero, like main character with dark hair. Like he's
A
Kyle
Paul Walker
Crane,
type.
the Paul Walker, the everyman, right? He's the masculine everyman. Um, Also Sonic the Hedgehog. So it just throws me off because I was also just playing Resident Evil 5 for the first time like in the last 2 weeks, and he voices Chris Redfield, who again kind of generic everyman, just
What was this
masculine,
guy's name?
attractive white guy, Roger Craig Smith, and it sounds like he's being voiced by. It sounds like Jason's
Oh,
being
okay,
voiced by
yeah.
Roger Craig Smith. He's like everybody has heard this guy's voice. He's in every major game. Like in Assassin's Creed, he's Desmond. So he's normally cast as just using his regular speaking voice, as most voice actors are. But in this, it sounds like he's ever so slightly putting on like a
Oh,
deeper
Ezio.
voice. Not Ezio, but Desmond.
No, Desmond was Nolan North.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ezio, yeah.
I was think I was thinking Desmond was the Italian guy. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. No, no. You're right. So it's just funny to me because it's like, why is he doing a deep voice when he's already got a pretty naturally deep cadence to his not cadence,
Actually,
but texture perhaps even to his voice. That they're just like, okay, do your speaking voice, but pretend you're like a kid who's trying to be older and put just an even slightly deeper tone to your voice.
I don't see a cast list, at least not on IMDb.
But what
So I
about
don't
Booby
think he
Ike?
actually. Well, I just know it from hearing his voice.
Oh, okay.
I'm familiar with Bobby Moynihan's voice. He was on SNL for several years. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of talk going around about how much this game will cost. We obviously know that Nintendo just raised the price of some of their first party titles, and I think Xbox also raised their some of their first party titles. So do you guys expect to see this one have a price increase?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see GTA 6 for $100 Canadian.
So here's something interesting to consider in this. I would not be. I agree with Tim. I wouldn't not be surprised. However, 2K, obviously related company to Rockstar and to GTA, just released the pre-orders for Mafia: The Old Country, and it's below the maximum standard price. It's like
Which
60
is
some
so
odd dollars in
fascinating.
Canada.
For Old Country?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the pre-order to Old
Really?
Country. Yeah.
Huh.
you can get the deluxe edition for like the regular retail price.
No shot.
So
Huh.
like what I was talking to Ryan about is I was like, I'm wondering whether the games, when we hear like 110 or something, like kind of remove Nintendo from this conversation for a second because they do whatever they do. But like I was kind of curious whether games that are single player focused, maybe they find that if they charge less, they actually make so many more sales that makes sense. Whereas like maybe people when they see a games as a service, which this game would likely be with GTA Online, they'll spend maybe 1,000 hours in here, and maybe then people would pay that price. It's an estimate. I don't know, but
So the trailer confirmed that it's coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. No word of PC, which I think always
Hmm.
angers the PC fans, but we should kind of be used to it at this point, where Rockstar has kind of always done this.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, do they do it because like maybe they're console devs first? Most of their sales, they know the data on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Most of their sales might be on console, and maybe they can make a better product without having to worry about too many consoles to develop for.
And that's always the argument, right? It's like it's so much harder to optimize for the literally endless PC builds that you could have
Yeah.
versus the PS5 hardware is consistent and the Xbox hardware is consistent.
Right. So it'll definitely come at some point.
well, I was just thinking to myself about like how they did GTA 5, and it was similar, right? Like console first, then they eventually had PC, but the PC was released alongside, whether it was like day of or just soon thereafter, but they re-released GTA 5 from the 360 version. Let's say if we're talking about the Xbox family, from the 360 version, and then they released an Xbox One version when the Xbox One came out, shortly after it came out. And then around that time is when the PC version kind of came out. And so like I know that the comparison was kind of thrown around just in sort of like layman speak, I suppose, like among the people, that was like basically the Xbox One version is the PC upgrade. And if we kind of like look at the timeline, if this game is going to be 2026, let's be realistic, could be even delayed again, 2027 or late 2026. I mean, are we potentially looking at them waiting a few years and then it'll be a PS6 and like the same type of thing will happen? Will they release a PC version and then the PS6 version will be like basically the PC enhanced version?
Well, how far are we into this generation now? PS5 came out 2020s. We're already 5 years into this generation.
Almost.
Some console generations were only 6 years long, so by this time next year, we'll probably be in the early stages of a new console being announced, or at least rumors, flying out about them left, right, and center.
Kind of surprised we're not already at that point.
Yeah, like especially the rumors or like really early leaks or something.
But
Yeah.
well, we do have some information. Xbox has already said they're working on the next gen console. It's going to be the most powerful console ever. Um, right? So
That they've ever made.
the PS5 Pro just came out, but I don't think Sony's ever said anything about PS6. Switch 2 coming out soon.
Next month.
Freaking soon.
I would love for one of these times for Microsoft or like whatever company to be like, we're working on the next generation console. It's not the most powerful console we've ever made.
I always love it when Apple comes out and it's like, this is the best iPhone we've ever made. I'm like, I'd hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope you wouldn't make a worse iPhone.
This one is kind of shit, honestly.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
don't buy it.
You don't need to say it. We all know it's your best one.
Yeah. Which iPhone do you have? Oh, I got the iPhone 12 actually. Oh yeah, that was way better. Keep that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't buy a new one.
Yeah.
You know what though? I will say is, and like this is again a very rough kind of point, but do you guys remember? I think it was 2007 was like a really crazy year where like a lot of franchises that we even play today
Yeah.
actually came out. Like Assassin's Creed is one of them, and that was about a year-ish. Is that right? Into the 360? Was
Yeah.
it 2006, 2005 maybe?
November 2005, I think, was when it came out in Canada.
So it's like a couple
So
of years
basically,
in.
yeah.
But like that console lasted, like if I'm just looking at the PS4 launch date, we're looking at November 15th, 2013, which I actually thought was 2014, but 2013. So like I guess the question is like, is this year, because this year is freaking packed, is this year
The new
our
2007.
2007? But like, does that indicate at all that there's like this is the peak and then we're going down? It didn't really indicate it, I guess, then, but I'm thinking like, would you have a peak near the end of a console? Like, is there still, I'm thinking about it in the context of like, is there still time for the PS5 in that? Because it doesn't feel like we've maxed out the PS5.
Although, I mean, with this Rockstar or with this GTA game coming out, I mean, maybe they maxed out the PS5 on that sucker.
But like, that would be the first one. Like and we never see another one.
Well,
Impossible.
I do recall, was it PS3 or the end of the PS4? One of the end of the last generations, like the games they were coming out with were like incredible looking. And it was just like, man, you don't even need it. If every dev was like this good at making games look this good and run this well, it's like you could have gone another couple years before you needed anything new. And it always happens in every generation. It's like as soon as they reach the peak of what they can do, they move on to another console. They got to learn everything from scratch.
I feel like it's got to be. I'm thinking like that's like PS3, right? PS3.
I
to
think it was
PS4.
PS3 because like The Last of Us came out in like the last year of the PS3, and it was just like amazing looking back then.
Yeah, it's like we could wait a year or more.
Yeah, yeah. Although I don't know why we keep striving for better and better visuals. Like I don't really hear anyone saying they want better and better visuals, but yet it feels like that's all the devs, or at least maybe the publishers, seem to care about is making the games look better and better.
It's the most dramatic selling point, right? You can't sell gameplay in a trailer, but you can sell visual fidelity in a trailer.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Well, they sold me on GTA 6 with the visuals. I have a PS5 Pro. I'm so excited.
Oh man, watch there be a glitch for that. No, it doesn't run as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It'll crash every time I hit water.
no, that's a Bethesda move. That's not a Rockstar
Yeah.
move. Rockstar cares about PlayStation.
Yeah.
Turns out they hired one Bethesda dev.
Oh, he
Sleeper.
brings that code along with him.
A sleeper agent.
Like he has like a base of the code he puts into every game. And it's always that
Yeah,
stupid.
he's going around sabotaging.
Yeah. All right. Is this a day one buy for you guys? Forget the price for now, but let's just like what's your hype level for it?
I was just gonna say, like, I wasn't really hyped for it because, like, I didn't really like. I played a lot of GTA 5. I only ever played that story through. Like, I don't think I ever even did it twice. I think I did it once. I played a good amount of GTA Online, which was like super delayed for one, and really bad at launch for two. and played it a lot, but not nearly as much as like you played it, Matt. Like you guys were playing it for years and years and years, and I kind of dropped it after a couple, like yeah, one or two. And I've never been the biggest fan of like GTA. Like I've played most of them since Vice City. I think I've played them all. Even some of the like spin-offs like Chinatown Wars and stuff on the DS, like I played that,
That was a
which is
good
pretty
time.
good. Yeah. But honestly, overall I can kind of take or leave GTA. Like I'm not super hype about it. It's one of those games where I would be like, yeah, it's probably going to be really good because it's Rockstar, and I really enjoyed like Red Dead 2 and the first one even at that point, but it's not a day one pickup for me. It's like a sale
Do,
pickup.
do you prefer Red Dead over GTA as a
Yeah,
franchise?
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Matt, what about you?
Um, I was kind of in the same boat as Tim a little bit with the like the lack of hype, but I feel like my lack of hype comes from it's just sort of like we've done like the criminal open world thing
That's
before.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think I may have said that for PS or for the GTA 5 as well. And then it's like it gets kind of closer to the day and it's like, you know what, I could play some GTA and I just get sucked into it. I
I don't
think
want to sound. Oh, good.
I was gonna say I think I would pay the price, the higher price.
$100
Maybe
Canadian.
not pre-order though. I mean, I haven't pre-ordered anything since 2043 or whatever, or 2042, where the hell
Battlefield is
that shitty
Battlefield.
game is. Yeah,
The one we
uh,
played like a couple times and never again.
yeah, and almost bricked my Xbox. That one, yeah, and not
And then
good.
Wes bought it on PS4 and couldn't crossplay with us.
That was potentially like in combination with like his purchase, my Xbox
Yeah.
issues, and my pre-order, and then everyone bought it and never played it again, was the biggest financial flop in our friend group potentially
Yeah.
ever in the terms of gaming. Like it was,
Yeah.
but it was the potentially collectively the biggest financial disaster we've seen. Like,
I mean, not that big. It was like $80, but yeah,
well,
I
I
understand.
mean, like in terms of
A game we
gaming
were
times
all
four
like,
or five.
yeah, a game we were all like, yeah, we're gonna play this because we played a ton of Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 after years of it being out, right? Because
That's right.
it had gotten so good after a while. Yeah, so that's funny.
Sad.
I want to pitch Rockstar. Like I'm a Zeitgeist guy, so I will be playing this day one, or at least buying it day one. But I also you were mentioning you're kind of tired of the open world crime kind of deal. I want to be a cop. I want a Rockstar game where I'm the good guys.
L.A. Noire.
Let me
Noire?
be yeah. But like give me like a GTA kind of world where I'm like it's the reverse. Instead of Grand Theft Auto, have it be Vice City PD. You know,
There'd be just as much crime on the inside you got to
well
deal with.
they could do that. They could do
Yeah,
that. You know, have some dirty cops and
You know,
stuff. And
yeah, no, that you raise a good point. There is a distinct lack of like cop drama stuff these days
in the games, yeah.
in the games industry specifically. Yeah, there's no. Everybody loved the cop dramas, the ridiculousness
Yeah.
of cop dramas in like the 80s and
Ooh.
stuff.
And you know what? You could make it like a 70s Vice City game,
Yeah, it'd be fucking awesome.
but you're a cop, and it's like back when cops were like beating guys and to get information out of them and
You can be
stuff. And
super like
breaking down doors without
super
warrants. And,
unethical with it.
yeah, you know, it'd be
So,
awesome.
so what you're saying is you still want an open world crime game.
But I want to be a cop, and I want to fight the bad guys.
No, but that's
By
the point.
using
is
the
that
tools
cops in
of
the
my
70s
enemy.
were also the bad guys. Like you can't
But
just
they were
go
still
into
on
an
the side.
interrogation and grab a guy in the back of the head and slam his face into the table.
Yeah.
Like that's not you
They
can't
were
do
on
that.
the side
That's
of
not
the good
lawful.
guys.
Oh, you gotta be
Yeah.
chaotic lawful is what you want.
Or
Chaotic
give
lawful.
me a morality system. I'll be a good cop.
That'd be like, man, that'd be like True Crime. The True Crime series. You could be a good or bad cop.
Oh man,
There you go.
They could literally call the morality system good cop, bad cop.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, they'll be coming out May 26th, you said?
Yes, sir.
2026.
I'm
Maybe
working
That's a
hard
year
on it.
from now, eh? Holy crap. That's a year
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
That's like all the comments on that trailer that dropped were all like, "We're gonna have to watch this so many times over the next year.
Oh.
We come back every month and watch it again."
Already in local news, EB Games to return to Canada after GameStop Canada was acquired. This is from Mobile Syrup Electronics Boutique Canada. I take issue with this. This article says better known as GameStop Canada.
Literally
yeah,
not.
it ain't better known. Like what?
Yeah, has been
Incorrect.
acquired by the prominent French Canadian entrepreneur Stephen Tetro.
Tetro, I think.
the co-owner of McFarlane Toys. Specific terms of the acquisition, including financials, weren't revealed. As part of the deal, Tetro is reviving the EB Games name, which was a staple in Canada for many years before it was rebranded as GameStop Canada in 2021. In addition to owning EB Games Canada, Tetro will serve as the company's CEO. In a press statement, Tetro said the name change is, quote, about bringing something back that Canadians truly loved. Oh, okay, I don't know, maybe. Promising to build something special here with community, nostalgia, and innovation at its heart. During this transition, EB Games Canada says day-to-day business will continue as normal, while all products and services offered to our customers will remain unchanged. This means that previously purchased pre-orders, gift cards, protection plans, and Edge loyalty programs will be honored. The company says the transition to EB Games Canada will roll out nationwide in the coming months, and this includes updated signage, a redesigned website, and a new branding across digital and social platforms. So going forward, the retailer says it aims to return to its roots with a fresh identity that merges classic elements with modern retail experiences. This includes plans for enhanced in-store events, expanded product lines, deeper integration with pop culture brands, and a renewed focus on Canadians. So I'm kind of excited about this. I don't know about you guys.
To me, it sounds.
Tim, you used to work at EB Games, right?
Yeah, for 2.5 years. To me, it just literally sounds like the same thing as when it went to GameStop Canada. Like,
Yeah.
the signage changed, the rebrand, the focus on different products. Like, it's literally exactly the same as when it rebranded from EB Games to GameStop Canada, and now back to EB Games Canada specifically, because I know there is also EB Games in Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know,
And a few other countries, I think, too.
Yeah, it just sounds like more of the same. Like, it's not. I don't know. The thing that actually that I find interesting that you mentioned in that it does sound unique is the mention of like more emphasis on events. Because obviously, with the nature of gaming being digital primarily for distribution and interaction,
Yeah.
that would be more interesting to see more events, because like we're not quite at the point yet of like the end of the era of the midnight release event,
Right.
but we can't be very far off.
Well, they'll still have it for console sales, right?
Unless the consoles won't be physical like disc things anymore, you know.
I mean,
if you go to their
what's
website,
interesting about this is like they've already like changed the branding. Like I'm on the Facebook, and I was on the Facebook earlier this week when this was first announced. It's already EB Games Canada. The logo's EB Games Canada, or just like EB Games with like a maple flag or maple leaf. They have like a thing where it's like nostalgic much. Check out the FAQs here, and there's like a little poster that says, well, hello again, and it's EB Games Canada. So it's kind of like, what I kind of like about this is it feels like, maybe it won't be this, but it feels like this is just a Canadian guy that was like, I fucking hate that EB Games is gone, and I'm taking this back. Because like who buys it and then goes like, yeah, we're still gonna work with GameStop, but like let's change the branding like right away. Like we got to change the branding right away, right? It's like, to me it just feels like someone who was like, get this GameStop shit out of here.
You know what though? If I was like as rich as this guy, I would do the same thing. That's what I would do with my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, stuff that
I'd
you
buy
like
something that I love and want to make it better. You know?
It does feel good. Like I agree with the in-person events too, because like those game shops that do like tabletop games, Warhammer and other things, they have usually quite a section dedicated to like just tabletop like play. And when I went to America last year for a concert, and we were staying next to this random strip mall, and they had this like really big and well rated game store. So I went in there, and they had an absolute crap load of games, but they also had an absolute crap load of like tabletop game stuff and a huge play area. And the people were buying drinks like crazy, just pop and stuff. They were like buying drinks and stuff. They were buying parts for their tabletop games, doing whatever. Now, I don't know if this is going to be tabletop games, but like if they could either do tabletop or do something similar to tabletop, I think that's a good revenue stream. And I think, Ryan, you and I were talking, like, GameStop is public. Like, it's a public company. It has like all these investors and blah, blah, blah. It's on the stock market. The list goes on. My question is, could EB Games, even just the way it is, be okay if it was private? Like, is it just like, yeah, we make millions of dollars, but like the investors like can just like STF you? Like,
because
you
they
know what I
want
mean?
growth, right?
Yeah, it's like the investors are like
Yeah.
more, do more, and then like the other guys are like trying to bet them down, and there was that whole GameStop like
To the moon,
yeah,
diamond
GameStop to the
hands.
moon thing, diamond hands, and all that shit. So it's like, I wonder if they're just like, no, we're a game store. Like, stop.
That would be cool if they kind of went like I hate to use like these turns of phrases, but like back to their roots and like kind of went back to very physical media. I think that there is a trend with younger generations, like in the same way that a lot of millennials really like the tactile experience of like early gaming, cartridge gaming, vinyl records made a huge comeback in the last number of years. Younger generations, I think, are liking the idea of physical media again, um, because of these like this just sheer amount of like content being locked behind streaming services that can then like the you can see, but only until they arbitrarily seemingly decide to like take it away from you.
Yeah,
And it's like now I don't have access to the show anymore that I really like, and now I need to go buy it on DVD or Blu-ray. And people are doing that again because they're just so sick of all these streaming services. They're like, I want to be able to watch this stuff. It's going to be in the highest possible quality because these streaming services aren't necessarily going to be streaming it at the highest quality if you've even got the internet to handle like streaming 4K stuff. You know, when you buy the Blu-ray, it's going to be the highest quality that you can get in distribution typically. It's sort of like these things are cyclical, right? They come back. The trends always work like that, and it would be cool to see EB acknowledge that and appeal to that trend, and like you say, kind of be more concerned about making it a good experience and making it a good store to like to work at would be nice primarily. But then for customers to shop at again, and like you say, encourage sort of that environment of like being more local, having these events or you know whatever the other game stores do because they're clearly very successful or very popular to have places where people can come in, they can play Pokemon cards, they can sit there and they got tables where people just sit and they rip packs together. Just start like building these communities, build it up, put it on social media. That would be huge for revenue. Like make it a place where people want to go. One of the biggest things that I saw in feedback, specifically for the Google reviews for the store that I worked at, granted it was in a mall, but people would always say it's way too crowded. It's too small a store. There's too many stands and displays and stuff. And even when you only have a couple of people in there, it's a pain to walk around. You feel like you can't look at everything because there's too many people in the way and there's not enough room to like breathe.
Hmm.
And while the store was like rated pretty well for our like service, a lot of people would pass it by and say, "I'm not going in there. It's too crowded." So like to get rid of honestly like a lot of that fluff, the extra like marketing and just the absolutely like inundating every uh single moment of a person's attention when they walk in there was just like stimuli, stimuli, stimuli. Look at all these colors. Look at all this merch. Look at all this everything. Like reel it back a little bit, kind of really focus on a couple of things that you want to do really well, and try to, like you say, like encourage these local events and these this environment that people want to go there and spend time. Because, like you say, the longer people spend in a place, the more likely they are to spend more money.
This has been my complaint. And you know the EB Games used to have like you know review or send in like a feedback report, and you could have enter a chance to win like $100 gift card or something like that.
Oh, for the
I
Game
would I
Informer
would
magazine?
no, it was just like on your receipt it would say you know
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
submit a review for a chance to win.
Yeah.
I did that every single time, and every
I
single time my complaint would be like, your stores suck. They're not a cool place to be in, and it's like you have to make them nice. And I'm having the same complaint with theaters. They're all complaining that no one wants to come to the theater, and it's like, yeah, because they suck. You know, our
oh
local
man.
theater that we go to, you know, it's looked the same way for the last 25 years. I think they did some reno when I was a kid, and it's looked the same exact way. The same nasty concession stand, the same ugly floor, you know, the same broken TVs, the same kids' playrooms and stuff, like where they have their little party rooms. It's just gross, you know. And it's like make it a place where people actually want to go
No, it's
and hang
nostalgic.
out, maybe. Instead, it's just like I don't know.
it's carpet too. So people are
Yeah,
walking on that and have walked on that for 25 years. And it's like, how much is in this fucking carpet? Like
yeah.
it, ugh. The thing with EB Games too that like pissed me off like years and years ago now. But I mean, we have a local EB Games here in the mall, and man, actually, what's really sad is the local one was much closer, at least to me. And then that one's dead, and it's some other, I don't know what the store is, but it's stupid. My
That's what
EB
you really
Games
feel.
back. Watch, it's like amazing in there. But no, but there's an EB Games local in the mall, and they took like it used to feel really big in there. And the place where you used to like check out where the staff would hang out was like off to the side, off to the right side, and it felt huge in there. Lots of open space. There was a lot of shelving still, but it was really big. Then for some reason they're like, we're renovating. Let's take a big round thing for the staff to be in and put it right in the center of the store, and
Yep.
then now everybody has to go around this weird ass center thing. Oh, but by the way, if anyone's in line, you have to get in line in the aisle in which you're supposed to be looking. So now I
Yep.
can't look because there's people in line.
Yep.
Whoever the hell thought that was good? It's like this is like a kid was playing The Sims and didn't
Yeah.
understand how to fucking like lay a room out. Like this is crazy.
That's what happens when you get somebody trying that works in an office that doesn't actually spend their workday in the location of the store, designing how the store should be laid out. Because
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened in the store that I worked at. It was shortly after they had renovated it to put that U-shaped counter in the middle, and I believe their main concern was so that you could have the employees in the middle so that they had eyes on every corner to prevent shoplifting. But the problem with that is that this location that I was at had two pillars, one
Oh.
at each opposite corner of the U-shaped desk. So you couldn't see every corner anyway. And then it was just one of those situations where they were like clearly like, oh, we need to do this reno. Okay, well, it doesn't actually really work in this layout because we have these pillars that are like for structural support. Like we can't not have them. Well, corporate said do it, so
Yeah. it's it's honestly silly. It's like it's almost like you're right, like someone who hasn't been there or someone who's just trying to like justify their job. Like, yeah, we have to renovate. Like we have to change the whole we have to
Yeah.
change all the layouts, and then they're just like, well, they're pretty efficient now. How do we do this? Okay, we have this anti-theft idea.
It's the same with the Bay. The Bay just closed down here in Canada. It's been around for like hundreds of years.
A friggin' long
Yeah.
damn
If you
time.
really go
Yeah.
far back.
really long time.
And it's just like your store sucked. I don't know if you guys went to the Bay often, but again, our local Bay that got shut down, it sucked. The escalators were scary. The public washrooms in there were scary.
The public washrooms felt like a place where like a gang from high school like would be or something. Like it was like
It's like,
like
and
the
it's like they didn't,
greasers or something.
it's like they didn't even try to make the place look nice. It's like, and then they're like, sorry, we're closing down. It's like, well, yeah, you did that. You caused that to happen. I like
you
shopping
tried
in the
nothing.
Bay. I like their clothes and stuff. I bought it, and then it's like, yeah, you tried nothing to make this place a decent place to shop.
We tried nothing and we're all out of
God.
ideas. What do we do?
Yeah, what do we do? Well,
now? Yeah, so
I went to
Sorry,
the
I
Wait,
don't
Bay.
know. I don't know if this guy is gonna like change EB Games in that way. He did say, changing the stores and things, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited though. It's nice to get some new blood in there. Someone who's maybe willing to try to make it work, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I will say, like, once again, like, just the fact that they've ripped down the digital signage already, I think is a good sign. Because this person's definitely in touch with, like, get that shit out of here. Like, let's not, like, I'm not going to buy EB Games Canada and then still call it GameStop for the next 5 years and have a slow transition and everyone's talking about it. And
The website URL is still GameStop.ca.
you can go to ebgames.ca, though, and it'll, like,
Does it just,
redirect.
but does it reroute you to?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I always went to GameStop.ca. So I went to
Oh, you still-
ebgames.ca. Yeah, fuck them. I'm not going to go to their stupid ass GameStop. In their analytics, it'll be like, oh, someone like used the old referral. It's like, yeah, it was me.
Man, I'm no retail like expert, but I wonder if they could even have like you go into an Apple store and they have all their products like just out and people can like look at them. What if they just had like consoles like out there? You could actually go and take a look at them and actually
used
pick one
to.
up or try with the controllers and stuff.
They used to.
Used to have room.
Back
to
in
do
my
stuff.
day.
And then stop forcing biogenic on me.
Well, that's their brand, though. That's where they make all their money.
I know, but maybe make your biogenic products better then.
I like their batteries. I'll say this: their goddamn
The
batteries last a
batteries.
damn long time. Holy crap! And I
It's
don't mean
not.
double A's. I mean like they're play and charge knockoffs. They last
No,
for a
that
friggin'
was
long
that.
time.
No, they tricked me. Those bastards tricked
They
me.
tri-
Me and Matt were getting our Xbox Series X's, and we were in there, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to buy the Play and Charge kit?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I would love the Microsoft Play and Charge kit. Yes, please." And they handed me the Biogenic one, and I was too embarrassed to say I don't want this one. Thank you very much.
That's
And
crazy.
I bought it, and
You
then I
bought
owned
the
it.
wrong one, even though you knew it was the wrong one. You could have just said, "Oh no, do you have the Microsoft one?"
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't.
No,
That's not on them.
no, but they still tricked me. I thought
didn't.
they were. Don't tell me the Play and Charge kit and then hand me some Biogenic one.
No, they said the charge and play kit. Microsoft
Ugh.
is the play and charge.
Horrible.
Man, I knew what was happening too. Like, because when I bought it, I was like,
And you
'cause I
sit
also
there
got
and
the
you did
same thing.
nothing?
No, I got the same thing, and I was fine with it. I was like, oh yeah, I don't care. And like I looked over, and Ryan was getting the same thing, and I was like, is that what he wanted? I was like, I don't know,
no.
guess so. And I just like kept going like hum diddly ho out of the store, and then
Hum diddly ho.
hum
No, you know
diddly
what?
ho out of the store there, and
You know what, Ryan? I take it back. This is actually Matt's fault. You're in the clear.
Thank you. Although the one cool thing about that Biogenic one is it had a MagSafe charging cable.
yeah, it's awesome.
That was kind of cool.
That's what I have on all my controllers. I bought the MagSafe dock as well.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool.
All right, we're chill then.
Yeah.
So Ryan
All
loves
right.
it.
Next, our final story. This is kind of like a blast from the past kind of episode. We're all talking about old GTA's and old EB games, and now we got Gears of War Reloaded coming in this summer, and it's coming to PlayStation. Who da thunk? Although I guess we all kind of assumed that since Xbox was very much bringing all their titles to PlayStation. This is from IGN. So yeah, Gears of War Reloaded is a remaster of the original 2006 game that will launch on August 26th on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Is the original even on PC?
I
It
think
is.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the original.
It
Gears
is?
of War.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has a mission that's not in the console version.
What the heck?
It has unique content. Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if that will be in the remaster, though.
Maybe.
Well,
That'd be cool.
this is the second remaster.
That's right.
The shiny new version will come with improved visuals and audio, crossplay and cross progression, and all the DLC from the Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Crossplay.
Quote, as we approach the 20th anniversary of Gears of War in 2026, we're reflecting on what this franchise means. It's about the story. Excuse me.
It's about the gears. It's about the war.
It's about the stories we've told, the friendships we've built, and the unforgettable. Oh my God, I'm dying.
And the unforgettable moments we've shared together with Gears of
Thank
War
you, Matt.
Reloaded, we're opening that door to more players than ever.
That's so generic.
I know it's like
It's about
boilerplate.
the memories
kinda,
we made. Yeah, come on.
yeah. Gears of War Reloaded is built for shared play, whether you're teaming up in split screen or jumping online. The campaign supports 2-player co-op, and versus multiplayer allows up to 8 players.
Yep.
With crossplay across all platforms, you and your friends can squad up no matter where you play. No Microsoft account required.
Boom,
When they
beach.
say
eh?
all platforms, they don't mean PlayStation as well, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, PlayStation and Xbox.
Huh.
I mean, games like COD are crossplay on console,
But Gears was always a Microsoft thing.
but now it's a
like,
PlayStation.
it's like Halo. It's crazy. Just
My
funny to think.
PlayStation is an Xbox. That should be in their next campaign.
I
But,
mean,
but have like a generic looking PlayStation. No, don't actually
Yeah.
have like the actual PlayStation.
yeah, yeah.
I have that one that's in GTA 6 in the trailer. There's a fake PlayStation.
Have a biogenic brand PlayStation.
A bio, yeah. Yeah. This Play box is an Xbox.
Playbox.
Microsoft also delivered a full list of improvements that all players, whatever the console, can expect to see. 4K resolution, 60 FPS in campaign, 120 FPS in multiplayer, high dynamic range, Dolby Vision and 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos, 7.1.4 3D spatial audio, variable refresh rate, 4K assets and remastered textures, enhanced post-processing visual effects, improved shadows and reflections, super resolution with improved anti-aliasing, and 0 loading screens during the campaign.
Gotta have that God of War squeezing through a gap to load the next area.
It'll probably still have those, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think those are now just a gameplay thing. It's just like
Yeah, it's just accepted.
yeah,
That is
squeeze
what
through this
games
thing
do.
for no reason now. Yeah,
Yeah.
just do it.
Don't mind the frame hiccup in the middle there. Nothing happened.
Yeah. Are you guys going to be playing Gears of War Reloaded?
Hell yeah. I love
Really?
Gears of War. I've
All
always
right.
loved Gears of War. Some of my like favorite like gaming memory moments of that era were with Gears of War specifically. I just found it so like funny. It was for the time, like 2006 or whatever that was, 2005. There was like I feel like gore had been done in games and like Doom and stuff, but it wasn't. You weren't like shooting people with shotguns and they were like blowing apart into like giblets and stuff. It was
Yeah.
like you'd maybe like blow somebody's arm off or head off with a headshot in like a shooter, but um and like with the graphical fidelity at that point too. Like I just remember a friend of mine and I playing it on like Christmas morning. He got it with his Xbox, and we immediately went into a multiplayer match, like a 1v1. And we were on like a pillar, and I went to go around the pillar, and he blind fired accidentally around the pillar and just blew me away with the shotgun. And we both just kind of sat there for like 30 seconds going, "Oh my God, did that just actually really happen?" Like, I'm like a pace all over this platform now. And it was just very like, for the time, it was quite mind blowing, and I'm sure like, that's what makes you old is when you say back in my day, we had it
Well, it's like
not as
seeing a
good.
character close a car door in a game.
Yeah, that's right. It just hadn't been done by that point.
Matt, I think you recently just played through the Gears of War franchise, right?
More recently, yeah. And I mean, what's kind of weird though is like Gears of War like Ultimate Edition exists,
Yeah,
which I think is really weird. Like, why is it too? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like why did it get remastered again? Because I brought this up to a couple people and they were not on my side, but I was like, if they want to introduce this to PlayStation folks, I kind of figured like two and three are kind of like a part of a trilogy, like one, two, three. And it's interesting that like Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, and like Gears 1's been remastered twice, but 2 and 3 haven't been remastered ever.
two is
I
really good too.
Yeah, like it's weird to me that it just never I don't know. It's weird to me that that they would give give the first game another remaster treatment
Yeah,
only to then not like remaster the other two. Now, here's the thing though, is if we like kind of break it down, are they assuming that people on Xbox have Game Pass and so they're just getting an upgraded Gears of War again? So it's irrelevant to them. But then they will eventually remaster 2 and eventually remaster 3 and they're selling it to the PlayStation audience one at a time. Is that the idea? Because it's kind of weird also, if we think about it, to be like, all right, PlayStation fans, get your taste of Gears of War potentially for the very first time, but only the first one. Then buy an Xbox, and then play the 360 version of 2 and 3. Like,
yeah.
what?
But play it on an Xbox One that people don't really have anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they talked about how next year is the 10th anniversary or 20th anniversary, right?
Yeah, 2006. Yeah,
So it could be, maybe they'll have more remasters come out next year and have a big celebration about all the different ones coming to all the consoles, right?
Well, 4 and 5 are modern, I would say, especially on
yeah,
PC. They're modern as
yep,
hell. Because like Tim, you and I actually streamed that game, like because our downloads were taking too long, so we literally just like literally like
yeah,
streamed it or whatever.
yeah,
Uh, um, and like that game looks really good. Even on the stream, it looked good. So I'm kind of curious, like the only ones to really remaster. I mean, obviously we've done it before, but the only ones to remaster for the most part are 2 and 3. So if there is like a 20th anniversary thing, would they just release 2 and 3 together? Like now it's weird to just be like, here's one and then a 2-3 bundle.
yeah,
Like what?
yeah. That would be weird.
Or they
Unless did a
remaster
one,
all
two,
of them
three.
and then at the end they have like a whole Gears of War saga that they release.
The Marcus Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
Don't just forget that he's also in 4 and 5. But the Marcus Phoenix saga.
Well, somebody was saying that I don't know how much Forza Horizon 5 is on Xbox if you were to pay for it. Obviously, it's on Game Pass. But somebody was saying that like they thought it was kind of outrageous that it was releasing on PlayStation for the first time for the full retail, whatever that is, 69.99 or whatever. And I kind of agreed at first, but I was kind of thinking, well, kind of not though, because if you were a PlayStation guy and you never ever had an Xbox, I mean, this is your first time playing Forza, and Forza is just a modern game. Like, even though it's been out for a while, like, would they value it less? I guess the answer is no. So, like, is this game, like, do we know Gears of War Reloaded? Do we know the price? Like, are the pre-orders open? Because if this thing is a full retail game, then they're looking potentially at getting 3 full retail games, assuming they release the first 3.
I can check, right?
You should
Now
be able
we're
to on the PlayStation app.
now we're talking the Nintendo argument where the game is not worth less just because it's been out longer.
Yeah.
The quality is still there.
I will say that like
Oh, it just says announced. It doesn't have a price.
okay. Well, because the thing is like it would feel weird to release the Gears Ultimate Edition on PlayStation. So I think it makes sense that they remastered it again. Because like even the Ultimate Edition is now old. Like that's Xbox One. You know, it's a gen back. I think it might have even been early in the Xbox One's life. So
I'm
you know,
I'm curious too if they added more colors to bring it up
unlikely.
to a total of 2 colors in the game.
I was gonna say
God,
unlikely.
I honestly fucking hope not, because one of the best things about Gears, like 2 specifically, and 1 as well, but 2 specifically, was that the color palette was like clearly, it was like an artistic choice. And then one of the things that people really hated about 3 was that it was too colorful. They're like, oh, let's this cartoony ass game. It's like people who played Morrowind, and then they liked the gritty fantasy of like the dark fantasy of Morrowind, and then Oblivion comes out, and they're like, what is this high fantasy, colorful, you know, like Jackson Pollock ass color splash on my screen? Like, I like the dark and gritty, and that was what the vast majority of the, at least from my perspective, the people I talked to while I was playing Gears online for years, was that they liked that Gears was really dark and gross and gruesome and gritty. Not no
I was
alliteration
starting to think
intended.
though that it was like a hardware limitation because so many games in that era were very like none of the colors popped. Everything was very muted. It seemed even in
Get
a
that
game
red.
like Mass Effect, like the first Mass Effect just seems kind of muted.
Yeah.
Fallout 3 was like just gray or
It had like a piss yellow filter on it.
This is green, actually.
and then New Vegas was just orange or like a brown.
It was sepia, yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't until the PS4 and Xbox One where like they finally discovered, oh, bright colors. You know,
They didn't have HDR, so there was no point.
HDR is nice. It took me years to and thousands of dollars to obtain pure peak HDR, but when you get it going, you're like, wow, that's sexy.
Man, I bought this monitor and went to the Windows settings to play with the HDR.
No, don't do that.
First of all, that menu is broken as hell because it literally tells me every time it's like this is not ready for HDR, and then I click it, it's like ready for HDR. Okay, and then when I do it, I'm like, fuck, it's bright, and it just washed out, and it looks awful.
HDR, I don't think you can use it on anything other than OLED. I don't think it works on any kind of LCD display. It's just you don't have the contrast there.
I guess that would make sense because like a washed out LCD is like definitely, it almost feels like an old school LCD. You know what I mean? So like it just kind of feels like we're bumping up against the edge of what LCD is possible.
Because I got Zoom on full screen, and I'm not sure if this is actually a black color around our videos, you know, but you can kind of tell it's like there's a light coming through the black, and it's not actually black, right?
Yeah,
it's more of like a gray. It's what?
It's like a dark gray for me.
It's like a dark gray, yeah. And that's what happens in LCDs. You don't actually get a black. You get like a proximity to black. But it's still bleeding a ton of light through it.
Because the pixel is like lit up, right?
Yeah.
But it's trying to be as dark as it can be. But by nature of being lit up, there is light there.
Right, yeah.
Gotta get that BlackBerry technology where the black is just literally a pixel that's turned off.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. The Q10, baby.
I definitely want my next PC monitor to be OLED, but they're pretty pricey still. I think prices are coming down, but they're still kind of crazy.
I feel like they didn't market OLED PC monitors too well because when I was looking for a new monitor, I didn't even really think of OLED, and then I was like, oh, OLEDs are pretty nice. So I was like, maybe I'll get those, and then you told me you're like they're pretty pricey, and I was like, OLED's been around for a while. Like, what do you mean? Because I didn't update my knowledge of monitors because I just had a monitor for a long time.
Yeah. I haven't checked recently, but you know, last I heard they were still up there in price. And particularly if you want a 4K monitor OLED, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be a lot.
All right, Gears coming out August something, and you'll be able to play it on your PS5. Would you play this on, Tim?
Like a PC, or would you play it on PlayStation?
Yeah, PC.
I was just curious if you would like want to just try it on on PlayStation.
That'd be weird. Be very strange
with a DualSense.
Yep,
be kind of gross.
I guess you have no real reason to get an Xbox, eh? You'll just play your Xbox games on a PC and
literally no reason.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to what we're playing. Tim,
Who's
what
that?
have you been playing this week?
Two answers, three technically. The first and most important, Far Merge Valley. The,
Hey,
the second and second most important, Oblivion Remastered. Who is surprised?
Not
remastered.
I.
Ray Marston, John Marston. Um, yeah, no, it's just fun. It's just fun. I can't really say anything about Oblivion that we haven't said already. Like, it's just prettier. It's the same jank. I'm glad that they kept the good jank and sort of smoothed out some of the bad jank. I mean, Oblivion, to play the old version of Oblivion is kind of annoying to do in 2025. Like, the PC version's not super stable, and you don't want to dust off the old Xbox 360 or PS3 to play it necessarily. And it's like the worst way to play it anyway if you wanted to. So like, why wouldn't you just play the PC version at that point? But then you got to worry about like, oh, I should probably get the unofficial patch and like all these mods, and then it's just a hassle. Like, I'm glad that so many people who probably were like, oh, I was too young to play Oblivion when it came out, are getting to play it now and like enjoying it and seeing what the fuss was, because it's just such a like good memey game. I have found a couple of things in it that have maybe not aged super well, but that's just by virtue of it being an RPG from almost 20 years ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've played Oblivion so much, it's like I'm just playing the game that I'm already super familiar with. It's just prettier now. And the thing that stands out to me the most actually is the sound design. It's just so goddamn good in the remaster. Like,
it's crazy actually.
you're out in the mountains and you can hear like birds calling like way off in the distance, and it's like echoing across mountaintops, and the way that like people's voices echo if they're in a part of the Imperial City where like their voices would bounce off the buildings and like the columns and pillars and stuff sounds differently depending on where you're standing. It's like they said it's like ray traced audio instead of ray traced lighting. It's just like it's really cool. And I think it's a feature of the game that is going to go really unappreciated. So I try to bring it up whenever I can because I think it's really cool and it's worth pointing out. Because I haven't seen any other game do it. I'm sure they have. I just haven't played them. And then, like I was saying earlier, I've been playing Resident Evil 5 for the first time recently with a friend. We've been streaming it. And I've played some of the Resident Evil games. I haven't played 5 before. I think it's the only one that's co-op. From the main series games. I know there's like Operation Raccoon City, which is multiplayer, but it's only a multiplayer game. Um, and that game is ridiculous. Like like they've played it before. I have never played it. I'm like barely paying attention to the story because we're just kind of goofing and gaffing our way through the game. But
Gavin.
even what I am picking up, like it's just so ridiculous. Like there's ridiculousness in Resident Evil. There's campiness. I played 4. It's a ridiculous game. But 5 is just like it's so weird. It's just such a weird game and story, and but it's fun. It's just dumb fun, and that's honestly at the end of the day what I kind of want from games these days. But that's largely been my week, 2 weeks even.
Is that Resident Evil 5 like redone? Like is
It's
that
like technically like the gold edition of the game, but it's not like a remaster or anything.
I don't know.
okay?
I don't think they're there yet. I think 4 was the last one they remastered.
Because is 5 even old? Like where are they at right now? Like they're done
Five
6.
5 came out in like 2009 or something.
Five's old by today's standards, I think.
Yeah,
Okay. Because what's Village? 8? 7?
8.
8, yeah.
Village is 8.
Okay.
Matt, what have you been up to?
Me? What?
Yeah. Resident Evil 2?
Yeah, Resident Evil 2. No, hell no. No, High on Life was free on PS Plus, so I downloaded that. That game is ridiculous. It's a bit too goofy to play a bunch though. Like it's kind of like the Rick and Morty, goofiness comic and or like a comedy rather. And I just kind of like find myself getting bored of it sometimes. Like it's pretty funny to have like some weird squid pop out of a tube and he's like, I'm Dr. Joopy. But like, hear the same kind of hear the kind of like the same jokes over and over again. It's like, holy crap. I did really fucking love the beginning though. It's like you start in a pixel art shooter and this guy calls you on like a little like HUD pop up in a video call and he keeps telling you that he's like hi, I'm your divorce attorney, just to let you know that. And then he would like tell what he's supposed to say and he disappeared. He'd come back, he's like, hey there, like, you gotta go up there, you gotta shoot those guys. And he's like, just let you know, I'm your divorce attorney, signing off. It just keeps fucking telling you over and over again. I think I'm 3 chapters away from the end because it's a bounty hunting game and I'm kind of going through a board of people to kill. What's freaking ridiculous though is there's an alien in this game that sits on your couch and like is just sort of like kind of like a wash up, like he was like a famous bounty hunter and he's kind of like washed out, and he just watches a Paul Walker like 80s film. And you can stand there and just watch the entire film. It's like a full fucking movie called like something and the T-Rex or something like that. Like it's a movie about this girl's boyfriend that gets his brain put into a T-Rex from the 80s, and it's really fucking bizarre. And I sat there watching it for like a while and I was like, oh, I wonder if Gene will like say something stupid to me. I kept watching it and he's like, yeah, pretty good, huh? And I was like, wait a second, how long have I been standing here? And I just like watched like 15 minutes of a goddamn
movie in a game.
yeah.
Yeah. They just got the rights to play the whole thing.
And I think there's a second movie because I don't know if this is part of the same one, but I just like I'm further in the game now. And when I came back, he was watching a movie with this like crazy clown guy where he was like talking to this lady and then he was just like, I'm a clown. This is what I do. And it's like definitely like an 80s movie. It's not something that, I mean, at least unless they did a really good job, it's not something that they filmed for this game, but it's pretty ridiculous. Like it's one of the things that's pretty funny is the suit has like it like trolls you. So I was doing this stupid detective mode thing. So there's this little like kind of like an AI assistant, voice assistant, like in your suit, and he pops up all the time, but you don't have the full licensed version of him. So all these pop-ups keep opening up and you have to like keep closing them. And he's like, oh man, he's like, you got the detective mode like add-on or whatever. He's like, let's go. And he puts on like a little like Sherlock Holmes hat. And we did this full investigation through this building. And like you had to like scan this, scan that, scan this. And it kept saying like investigation mode, let's go. And you would like, you know, ask questions, do all the scans, and he'd be like, that was pretty shit. That's a rank D. That was pretty awesome. That's a rank A. And then you find out that that's all useless. Like you don't have to do that. You could just walk through the level. And he's like, yeah, just let you know, I just love investigation mode so much that you didn't actually have to do any of that. Like all the doors were open. You could have just went through the level. And the one guy's like, are you kidding me? Like we could have just continued through the level without doing all this. And I did every scan. Like I was like checking all the corners and like scanning all the objects. And it was all of it was 100% useless. So that's
did you have fun
life.
doing it? Because that's not useless.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Like some of the stuff's pretty stupid. Like there was we found a science trophy, and this guy like kind of had them prominently displayed, but they were all for second place. He's like, second place. He's like, wait, second place for science? He's like, what do you mean by second place for science? Like he's just like a super science guy or something. Like it's pretty stupid. And he's like, is it like galactic science? Is it like biological science? Like, what is this? Like second place for science? He's like, and also, who cares about second place? He's like, isn't this guy supposed to be the best? So it's just stupid shit like that.
What's this guy's name? Bill Nye.
Bill. Well, what's pretty funny is that particular boss like turns to fight you and he falls on himself and he just dies, and you get a gold trophy called like the hardest battle in the game because that boss is like actually dead. And it's just like, well, okay, like he accidentally killed himself and that's it. So that's it. Like, but I just got the Gatlin, which is the guns. I just got the guy that says, let's do it all the time. I rescued him. He's all beat up, so he hasn't said it yet, but somebody's trying to like nurse him back to health.
He's all beat up, so he hasn't said it yet.
Correct. Yeah,
it's incredible.
The only thing I know that he says is "let's do it" because that's his name. It's one word. It's like "let's do it."
Was he a Pokemon?
Pretty much. But you know, so I mean, that game's fun. It's just I play it in short bursts and then I come back. Oh, actually, there is something really funny though. I think I was telling Ryan about this earlier this week, where I killed a boss and the knife in the game just loves like cutting into people and like cutting things, and it'll be like, "Come on, kill! I mean, I'll come like stab me into you, stab me into you." So like when you first find him, he's like, "Yeah, now turn me and stab me into your gut, like stab me into your gut and gut you, so I can see all the guts come out and stuff." But I killed this boss. He was on the ground, and I didn't realize that the knife, like, well, the knife was begging me to let him stab him, but I thought it was just like a joke. So I started to walk away. He's like, no. He's like, you can't tease me with like the juiciest part. He's like, you can't tease me with the climax of this. He's like, I have to come. Let me come.
Oh my god.
So I like go over and he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna do it. And they start like cutting into the alien that you just killed, like kind of gutting him. And he's like, oh yeah. Oh, sorry about that. It's kind of got a bit too carried away there. So that's High on Life.
Ridiculous.
There's also a I mean this game's fucking ridiculous. There was also a turtle fucker on the there was a TV show
God.
where they were like, this guy's like, they're like, oh, like, we're sitting down here with this turtle fucker. They're like, sir, like, are you aware that this is like really controversial? And like, these turtles, like, people don't think that they want to be fucked. It's like, no, he's like, that's totally ridiculous. He's like, these turtles, that's what they were born for. They deserve to be fucked. They want to be fucked. Like, that's definitely what's going on.
What the hell? They deserve it. I'm doing them this good service.
But then like the host is like, hang on, like, we have news that someone's like breaking into the studio, and the protesters against turtle fucking broke into the studio live and like kidnapped the guy away. It took him. He just took the guy out. He's like, all right, well, I guess that's it. Like, I guess that's it for the episode. Like, this game is ridiculous. But other than that, I guess more grounded. I've been playing Oblivion Remastered.
Oh, I thought you meant the game Grounded.
Yeah, I thought you said you were doing more Grounded.
No, Christo, a more grounded game than High on Life. I did have a lot of problems though, Tim. Did you do the invisible people in the village quest?
Yeah, yep.
Mine glitched out. I had to load like friggin' 6 times.
Glitched out in just like that the characters wouldn't go where they were supposed to or something?
So the first time everyone was invisible, makes sense. And then I was in the tavern talking to the dude to like kind of start the quest.
Yeah.
And the guy who was an orc who was working the field outside came in the door and he became visible. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Okay.
And as I kept playing and like, because I was exploring the village a bit, every time someone went through a door, I think it was, like they became visible and they wouldn't go back to be invisible. And then when I went to make them visible again with the quest, everyone who was visible became invisible and everyone who was invisible became visible.
So it swapped their state, yeah.
It swapped their state, and then so it was just like everyone was all fucked up. So I was like, okay, I'll load. And then I loaded once and it crashed. Like I got to the point where I went to flip them and then it crashed hard. So I was like, okay. And then I tried again, and for some reason it spawned like what I'm gonna say is like a level like 25 wolf outside this guy's base. And the dude who was invisible, like the necromancer guy or the alchemist guy, he came out to help me. Like I just hear him screaming and I'm like, where is he? Like, and he's just like, die, Kurt. And he's like punching the fuck out of this wolf. And I was like, this is fucking chaos. Like, what happened to this quest? Like, I remember this quest and it wasn't this fucking like ridiculous.
Good God, no, I didn't have any. It went off completely without a hitch.
I wish. It's got to be said, because holy crap, that was a mess. But I eventually got it, where I like double checked that everyone was visible. I made a save, and then I ran out in the field and really quick before anyone used the door, fired that thing off, and then everyone was visible again. so there's that. But no, the game's been fun. I just became the hero of Kvatch. I just did that quest. I'm only level 9. I think I became level 10, but haven't slept yet during the mission. A bunch of people died. Those Legion guys died, which was a tragedy. But a couple of the Kvatch like soldiers survived, so that was cool. And I only did the hero of Kvatch thing because everyone said to do it before level 10, because if you don't, apparently it's like a total disaster. And it was pretty chaotic, to be honest, because like the NPCs just like get fucking destroyed.
Yeah, but they get destroyed even if you're level 10 anyway, like, or less than 10. Like I did it at like 18-ish maybe, or 17. It was fine. I think that tip of people being like, oh, do it before this level because it's just too hard otherwise, is like for people who are literally playing the game for the first time and they might not understand that, like, as you keep leveling up, you start fighting like harder and harder Daedra everywhere. Like when I was going through, I was fighting all Daedroth. Like everything was Daedroth, and it wasn't a big deal because the level scaling in the remaster is so much better than the original, where you're not going to accidentally like nerf yourself and kind of screw yourself over by not leveling efficiently, so you can't increase your like attributes properly as you level up.
Yeah, I do find like because I've been doing a lot of dungeon diving, and I do find like every dungeon I go to, short of a couple like harder enemies, which are usually like at the end or something, it's been pretty balanced. Like I haven't had like a
Yep.
lot of issues. I haven't really died too many times, to be honest.
I think I've died like twice total, and one of those times is because I jumped into like the flame pillar in an Oblivion gate just to see if it still killed you. Like it's the difficulty is not a problem. I mean, I'm playing on normal to be fair, so it's not, like I'm playing hard mode, but
Yeah,
it's definitely way easier than original Oblivion because purely by virtue of the fact that you can use level up your attributes like effectively every level.
it is nice. Like because I've been doing a speed character more or less, so I'm doing like short swords or daggers, more or less short swords, bow, and then I'm a dark elf, so I'm doing a little bit of destruction on the side, kind of thing. And a little bit of restoration. That's just utility because I like to be able to heal and not rely on potions all the time. Um, but like I've been, been able to run in there, kill people really quick, soften them up with bows before I run in, things like that. A little bit of sneaking around, like it's been pretty good. And like you're right, like the level scaling feels a lot better in this one. Because I do remember when I was a kid. I mean, I was kind of an idiot when I was a kid, obviously, but when when I was a kid and I was trying to do multiple things, like if I was like, I'm going to do swords and this and that and this, I like my character kind of sucked. Now, whether that's just
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
have a better planned character now, or whether it's because the scaling's better, I don't know. But
You spread
um,
yourself too thin because you try a little blade, you try a little blunt, you try a little, maybe a little hand to hand. You would try destruction magic, and then you're like, my attributes are all over the place.
yeah, it was a mess. Like it was not good because like I remember I had like that orc named Smash Grow Bang.
Smash, go bang.
And like he was okay, but I tried to give him, I think back in the day I tried to give him something like a bunch of magic just so I could heal and stuff like that. And that just
Yeah.
like is not privy to, being kind of like an unga bunga character. So like my character was just kind of like almost like self-nerfed the entire time, which was a little
Well,
unfortunate.
and it's like an older RPG, right? Where, in current RPGs you can kind of make whatever character you want, whatever race you want, and it doesn't really like affect your gameplay very much. But with older RPGs, it's like they kind of assume that you're going to go with a certain archetype with certain races and stuff, and orcs are very much like heavy armor, weapons, like armor, not magic, not stealth, not sneaking, not bows, any of that stuff. So if you try to like go with a character that doesn't really suit the archetype, then the game's going to be a lot harder for you. And what was ironic was if you wanted to make the highest level like character possible, you'd pick a race that wouldn't get any bonuses in the skills that you wanted to use so that your main skills started as low as possible, and then you had the most potential for leveling those up to 100 to get the most overall level ups.
Right. Yeah, because you don't, or no, yeah, okay. Man, the old, like, it's almost like the old system just like left my brain. Like, there's still like
Yeah.
like, because there's still like the major skills and there's still minor
Yep.
skills,
Yeah,
right?
there's major and minor skills. That's just the major ones just contribute. They give you more experience and they're easier to level up as you level up.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that part.
You
Okay.
can still level up from leveling your minor skills. It's like Skyrim where you level from you overall increase your level from leveling everything. You just get more experience from your major skills.
Right. Okay. I do like the attribute like distribution as well. Just like basically toss a luck
Yeah.
in there and then, choose two other ones more or less. I mean, you could choose three others, but might as well get the luck up a bit, which is pretty nice. But yeah, other than that, I did a little bit of the PSP project, I guess. So I got pretty bored of Need for Speed Most Wanted 310 because it's literally just like there's a list of 15 people you have to defeat and you have to do like a minimum of like 4 or 5 races for each person and go and like it just keep doing the same like it's a PSP, so it's not like the tracks really aren't varied too much. And so it's like, all right, another race. Okay, another race, another race. It's like, holy fuck, like just kind of getting a little bit tedious. So I've slowed that down and I started a game called Gangs of London. And I'm already maybe 30% of the way through. I just set it to easy. I was like, I'm doing this thing just to experience these games. I'm playing on easy. Fuck. I'm not struggling anymore, especially since this game has like stealth. And I was just like, yeah, with these controls, like, no. Because I'm a person that always plays on regular, but I was just like, no, not today. Not today. We're not doing that. Because I'm never gonna remember like what difficulty I played Gangs of London on friggin' PSP on, so who cares? But other than that, I think that's it. That's been my week.
For me, I've been doing Oblivion like everyone else. I think I'm past the point I made it to when I originally tried to play the game, so that's progress. No Will the Wisp taking me out this time.
Oh man, those are the worst in the original game.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It doesn't feel too far off from other Bethesda RPGs, so it's not like it's like unplayable. So it's nice. Um, I am getting my ass kicked every now and then, particularly if I get two people coming at me at the same time. You know, I don't know what I'm doing wrong there, but they're killing me.
The old AI is just very aggressive, right? Like I remember
Yeah.
the first fight that I really had issue with, I think, was in the arena. The first fight we had to fight three people at the same time, and they're
Mm.
all just on you constantly. Like there's no, it's not like Assassin's Creed where you have
Yeah, they take their
eight
turn.
guards around you, but they each come at you one at a time, so you can very casually counter them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's very much like old school AI, and that they're just all very aggressive and they all come at you. The thing that kills me the most, it's like my one major complaint about the game, is that if you have a horse or you have companions and you're just running through the environment and you come across an enemy and everything is way behind you, the thing that starts the fight is that you got near an enemy, whether it's a bear or if it's a spriggan or if it's a minotaur or if it's a wolf or whatever, they'll see you and they go, all right, aggro mode, and ignore you, go after your companion, go after
Yeah,
your horse. They don't go on you. And even if you run up and you punch them or you hit them or whatever, you hit them with a spell, all this stuff, they still don't aggro on you. They only lock onto like your horse and shit. So I've had to actually load a couple of times purely because I run it through the woods. I get a bunch of enemies behind me because I don't know if there was this much enemy density before in the original game. Maybe I just ignored it, but
it feels
I'll
like
go
there's a
through.
lot more. I
Feels
agree.
to me like there's more. So I run through for a little bit. The aggro range is super, super far. So you run for like a couple of minutes. You have like eight things chasing you. Get off my horse, turn around to like fight everything. They all run right past me, go for my horse. And the horses have such low health that they just like die right away. And I'm like, it's just frustrating. Like you'd think that they would want to fight the thing that's like looking at them. But I don't recall it being that way in the original game. It probably was. I just don't recall everything always ignoring you and going after your companions or your horse before going after you, which is
I
like smart because go after the weakest first, but it is annoying.
That was
Well,
kind of weird.
I was gonna say like I ran to Leowin, and like to your point, Tim, I ran to Leowin on the easternmost road, and I was just like ripping down the road because I was gonna get that shrine for the skeleton key. I just wanted I not I wasn't the proper level at the time. I just wanted it on the map, so I kind of just like ripped down that road, and not only were there a shitload of enemies, they always aggro to the horse, like you said, and for me, they never de-aggroed. Like I got sick and tired of getting off my horse every 2 seconds to fight a wolf.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna keep riding. And I
Yeah,
rode for like 10 minutes because I was, checking out little side things, whatever, just kind of riding by. And then I get almost to Leowin and I was like, where the hell's this combat music? And I turn around and a fucking wolf from like the edge of the Imperial
yeah,
City is still on my ass. And
yeah.
it's like, holy crap, like get the fuck out of here. It's crazy. Like,
Yep.
So yeah, I'm hoping to complete that game. It's a tall order, I guess, but hoping I'll get there. And then Star Wars has taken over Fortnite. A lot of Star Wars content in there, so we've
Oh
been back
yeah,
on the
yeah. The new
Fortnite
update.
train. They always find a way to worm its way back into our lives. And Fortnite has been resubmitted to the App Store in America.
Oh
So
dang.
we'll see what Apple does with that. I'm sure they're not too keen on allowing it in, but we'll see. Be interesting. And I guess that will be this. I don't know if that's the same for Canada then too, if it's coming back to Canada. But I would like to have Fortnite on my phone. That would be nice.
More like
I
phone
already
night.
do. Hmm?
Phone night,
More like phone tonight.
phone tonight. Oh, and I booted up GTA 5 just because of the GTA hype, and I'm dabbling in that a bit because I never actually completed the story because both my
Oh,
copies like broke on me. So
damn.
yeah. So
Yeah, you
maybe
had a
I'll.
crazy thing, right? Like PS3 broke, and then your your 360 save broke too, or something.
Yeah, the PS3 one, I got to a point where it's just like there was no mission objective, and it was just kind of like there was nowhere I had no idea where to go. You know, I would switch to all the characters, nothing would pop up, and it just kind of got stuck that way. So I just stopped playing. And I was probably pretty near the end too, which really sucks.
Oh,
I can't remember what happened to my 360 one. Maybe I just got tired of it and didn't want to play the whole thing again. You know, and we were I think we were playing online at that point, which we played a ton of. Which last I checked, I still have $600 million in. So
No, nice.
holy crap!
I don't know if that's worth anything
Oh
anymore.
yeah, because you dodged the like hacker.
I think that was
reset
under
or
the
whatever.
threshold or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy.
I distinctly remember all of us stealing like that night, buying a bunch of shit because like the hack had happened,
Yeah.
and we stole stole or maybe ordered one of those like huge fucking dump trucks. Do you guys remember that? Those like huge like mining dump trucks, and like three or four of us, like two were driving it or whatever, and then a bunch of people were in the back,
Jumping
and
in the back. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and we had like a bunch of people chasing us, which I think were some of us as well. Like it was just kind of like a game we were playing, and we like went all the way around the whole highway, the whole map.
Yeah, it's funny how that game became online specifically became infinitely more fun when you had access to all the fun shit, like the helicopters and tanks and stuff, because you just like somebody hacked you $400 million, and so then you could buy that stuff. And that was the around the time where I was like really starting to burn out on GTA Online because you didn't make enough money from doing the missions, and there weren't enough missions in the game at that time, like stories to follow. Heists weren't in the game yet, even though they'd been promised time and time and time again. And I was really starting to burn out on the game. I did not want to play it anymore. And then suddenly, when we had all this money that we could buy the cars that we wanted and max them out and get all the like military like call in stuff and the unique jets and helicopters and tanks and stuff, I actually started to enjoy the game. And I understand why Rockstar did it, because they wanted to squeeze every last shark card purchase out of every single person, make the gameplay frustrating, and then sell the solution. But I thankfully never had to spend a dime on shark cards.
Yeah,
That game became like way more grindy too.
More
And
grindy? God damn.
well, because what they introduced, right, was they introduced heist for sure, and then they introduced like clubs and stuff. So like there was you could be like the evil like corporate guy doing like smuggling and stuff. And what you had to do is you had to like make a like drive to your office, make an order, or maybe use your warehouse, but whatever. You had an office and a warehouse, and basically you would like make an order on a terminal at one of the two locations. It would put it in order, and would have to choose like how big of an order you wanted. And sometimes it would give you like two trucks, and if you're solo, you're fucked because it's going to mark them both on the map, and someone's going to destroy the one. And you'd have to like go get the truck, drive it to your warehouse, slowly but surely do that like 20 times or whatever, fill your warehouse up. Once your warehouse is full, you decide to do a sale. But when you do a sale, if you sell too much, you better have enough people in your crew that you trust that are actually have good internet connection. Because like for Nate, for example, one of our friends, we were playing with him. He used to have 3 full truckloads, and there would have to be 3 of us online. And if one of us disconnected or one of us were gone, he loses a third of his warehouse because someone would come and like blow the one thing up. So it's like you're investing all this time and all this effort into a thing that has to be done in the open world. And then everything was like that. So like the MC, the motorcycle club, you could buy different things. You could buy like a meth lab and a weed lab and all the rest of it, and like a weed farm. And it was like the weed farm, it would like run out of water and run out of this and run out of that. So you could upgrade it, but now you've just paid to be an MC president. You've then like paid for the weed farm. You've then paid for the updates, and now you have to like run these missions to supply your weed farm forever and ever and ever until you want to sell the weed. Then you go and sell it, and it's like, well, that didn't pay for all those upgrades. So it's like, go do it again and again and again. And you could run multiple. You could run like a meth one and this and that. And it was like, that's all you fucking did in that game at the end. And it's like, to me, it was just like, holy fuck. So I was an employee of Nate. He was mega rich, paid me about 10 grand every whatever. And that's like a real mechanic in the game. I just joined his corporation whenever he played. I got
That's
10
funny.
G's every like 15 minutes, and that's how I made all my money.
That's hilarious.
He was mega rich, so he had yachts, he had a gold helicopter, he had assistants, and I was like, fuck it, I'm attaching myself to this man,
Yeah.
and I'm fucking riding the wave.
That's about it for me. So, and that's about it for the show. Tim, where can they watch you streaming your stream?
We're streaming at twitch.tv/the sidetrack, where we're streaming a stream Wednesday nights, Day One Patch Media. We play multiplayer games sometimes.
Crime Boss Rocky City. Baby.
Crime Boss, know the random combination of elements for that crazy ass vault.
Oh yeah. You have a security system and it's a bunch of shapes and the hieroglyphics and
Yeah, that was weird.
And no codex.
Where's the manual for this?
Which one is left?
But yeah, we'll be on twitch.tv/DamonPatchMedia, so you can catch us there. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. See you next time.
Yo, peace.